Hey boyos, Daily Check-in with John V. May 26th, 2025. I did not prepare for this video at all. It's not rehearsed in the least. I had a couple things running through my mind, so I was like, yeah, I'll do a video. Just why not, right? I get bored, and this is literally something exciting to do, and just to see what people say about my videos, even though I don't have many people that watch the entirety of my videos, so you know, what I have to say is usually nothing exciting. It's usually really boring shit. So I don't blame you guys for not watching it. If I had exciting stuff to talk about and my life was exciting and I was going, skydiving and fucking skiing and all this shit, maybe then I'd have something exciting to talk about. But literally, today was more exciting than usual, and I'll talk a bit about that. Like earlier today, my mom came and picked me up, and we went to the coffee shop, and I got a coffee and a couple burgers, and it was a good time. She gets a free coffee with any purchase because she's a senior. It's at Wendy's, and she gets the coffee black and gives it to me, so I don't have to buy a coffee. And then I just got back from the grocery store. I went for a little walk to the grocery store and got something to eat again, which I shouldn't have. I'm gonna hate it myself later. But I got some chicken and taters, chicken strips at that. Probably the worst type of chicken there is, right? If it was rotisserie, that would have been a little healthier, but whatever. Um, I probably will eat again later today. Probably a steak. I probably will try to hold off on it and just have like fucking an apple and an orange or something like that. Because I bought two small bags of apples and a bag of oranges, and I've been trying to chow down on those instead of indulging in junk. But it's not working very well. It seems like every day I take a trip to the store and buy a bunch of garbage food to eat, like chicken and taters, burgers, shit like that. Like I don't go to the level of the chips and pop or something like that. Fuck that. I'm not that fucking bad. But like I am still losing weight. It's just not at an acceptable rate, right? Like a pound a week of weight loss is okay. It's not great. I want to lose more than that because when I first started losing the weight, I was losing like 3 pounds a week, which was much better. But realistically, you can't keep that kind of weight loss up. And while I was at the grocery store, I seen a girl that works there that I was kind of interested in, but she's a fair bit younger than me, better looking, and I'm just like, you know what, bro, just don't even worry about it. I'm not looking right now, right? I still take notice of women and I'm still attracted to women even though I'm not looking, right? I have my reasons for not looking, and you all know why, because obviously what I'm going to attract right now is somebody that's on the same level as me, and I don't want that. Nobody wants that. Like the people that are dug into the fat fuck lifestyle that have no intention of bettering themselves, yeah, they settle for somebody on their own level, but I'm not doing that, right? I know my limits. I can score somebody a lot better than somebody that's on my level now once I'm in good shape, right? So give it some time, and I'll be doing pretty good for myself. I know a lot of you boys, some of you give me shit, some of you just are politely telling me but about getting a job, and right, I'm considered disabled, so I don't work. And it's just so disheartening knowing that I could have a job and it'd be minimum wage and I wouldn't be making a lot more than I'm making now. I still wouldn't be able to afford my own apartment, right? And if I did have my own apartment, I wouldn't have any money left over to do anything else. It would be pay for the rent, buy food, meds, smokes, and that's it. I wouldn't be able to pay for anything else. So, the world we live in sucks. Basically, you all know how it is. The poor keep getting poorer, the rich get richer, right? That's just the way it seems to be. Like Justin Trudeau, he was helping the poor people, and I guess he stepped down, but he was doing a lot to help the poor people like me, the people that are on disability and welfare, and yeah. but he was taxing the richer people to help the poor people, which I have no problem with. I thought my door was open for a minute, that's why I kept looking over. But that's enough about that. Anyway, you know, I get you boyos. You'll say, I speak well in my videos and whatnot, but the majority of you don't even watch my full videos. So something has to change. I have to make my videos more interesting because a lot of these famous YouTubers I watch on YouTube, when I watch one of their videos, I usually watch the whole thing and wish it was longer, right? So what I'm getting, the general gist of what I'm getting, because most of my traffic on my YouTube channel is from the MISC, and the general gist I'm getting is I'm not keeping my audience interested. So obviously, if you have basically a man who's just basically a step up for being an incel, ramble about a boring life where he does almost nothing, and most of his shit's just a rant and complaining, you know, it's understandable why I don't have many views, and watch duration isn't very long for most of them. You know, I wouldn't want to watch somebody like that either. I don't blame you guys. But when I was on the Looks Maxing forum, I was getting quite a bit of views from there, and I did have some people say they watched my whole video, and I was very impressed. And he was like a younger girl. She said, "I watched your entire video." I said, "Oh, thanks. I'm very surprised." Because who wants to listen to a fat, ugly, bald, middle-aged man talk about his boring life and how nothing changes in it, right? But yeah, I really didn't rehearse this video at all. I don't know much what else to talk about. Give me a moment to think. Um, but yeah, getting into government housing in 10 years is kind of a kick in the nuts, because that was when I want to do something, I want to have it done right away, as soon as possible. And knowing that I have to wait 10 years to have my own place is such a kick in the balls, because if I was in the city with my own place, I'd have a sense of what's the word for it, independence, right? I wouldn't have distractions from doing things that are important in my life. I wouldn't have temptations to ruin my diet and stuff like that. And I would be on a public bus route that's better than the bus route I have access to now. And there's more job opportunities, so I could find casual work much easier than here. Like my sister told me, she's like, apply everywhere for a job. And I'm just like, what's the point? Nobody's going to want to hire somebody for 10 hours a week, right? And the thing is, why would I apply everywhere? You make it sound like I should be desperate for work. Like, I'm not desperate for work. Just be, and if I have to work, I don't want to be doing something I fucking dread, that I hate. Like, uh, why would I need to be desperate, right? That's the mentality that got me where I am in the first place. I was desperate for work, so I took whatever shit job was available, and I did that for almost 20 years. And I'm not doing that anymore, right? And a lot of you will say, well, having a shit job is better than no job. Not quite. Not quite. I have an income from disability, right? And if I work again, it's going to be doing something I want to do, like working at the front desk at a gym, for fuck's sake. Something like that. Something that I would actually enjoy, that pertains to my interests, that I have, some kind of expertise in. I don't want to be a fucking dishwasher at a restaurant or a bar washing dishes from a fucking dishwashing machine anymore. I don't want to do shit like that. And I can't handle really manual labor. Like, I can't be a fucking roofer. I'm scared of heights. I can't be a roofer's helper carrying the shingles up to the roof because it's too physically demanding. I can't handle it. Right? So the kind of work I would want is working like the front desk at a gym, right? You know, there's some hard work involved in that, like cleaning down machinery and cleaning the fucking boot dirt from the treadmills and stuff like that. I've seen workers at the gym doing that before, and I would have no problem doing stuff like that. And, you know, the other workers would actually want me to work with them because they'd say, you know, John will do the shit work where he's gonna clean the mud off the treadmill track, right? I don't have to do it. And that's the way it's always been. When I had a job, I always did the shit work. And it wasn't because I wanted to, it's because I was willing to. So people liked having me around, but it's amazing the lazy fucks that I've had to work with in the workplace. 80% of the people I've worked with were lazy fucks who didn't even want to work. They literally would be there just to be on the clock to get paid for it, and you know, they would shirk their duties if they could get away with it and just work hard when the manager was around watching them. And it's amazing. I think if things had turned out a little differently, I could have really, really been something in life. I really think I could have been, because I'm a hard worker, I'm a good worker, and it's so demotivating working at a shit job for minimum wage, coming home knowing that the amount of money you're making is hardly paying for the bills, and that's it. Like, I can't buy a 40 ouncer of whiskey and drink it every couple days. Like, I can't go buy fucking a syringe of heroin and enjoy it because I can't afford it. Even if I'm working, I can't afford shit like that. Right? Give me a second. I sat up a little bit. You know, I can't enjoy things in life because working minimum wage, it's a vicious cycle. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer, like I already said. And I know a lot of you boys give me shit or just trying to help, but around here, there's no opportunities. I live in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. I live in a small town with a few thousand people, and that's the way I've always lived. I've always lived in this province, in small towns, with just several thousand people, small businesses, no big corporations. There's no big factories here nearby. There's nothing that pays well. And like, if I want to be a carpenter, carpenter's helper, or something like that, I don't know anybody. Who the fuck is gonna hire me on as their carpenter helper, and pay me a decent wage around here, right? And I don't want Buddy to pick me up every day that's a carpenter and I be his helper, and have to go through making polite conversation with him every day, and have him invite me over to drink with him on a weekend or something, and just me be like, no, I don't want to. Like, right? I don't want to be put in that situation where I have to turn people down for socializing. I don't want to socialize. I want it to be on my terms, right? I want to be selective of who I socialize with. Like, they have to have common interests in me, not just because we're both carpenters or we both drink. Like, I like nerdy people. I like people who play Magic. I like people who play video games. I don't want to, you know, socialize with people that just want to talk about cars or fighting or drugs or, you know, stuff like that. Like, I'm not into cars. I'm not into drugs. I'm not into fighting or fucking bitches. Like, that's what all the young guys back years ago want to talk about when I socialized with them. Is just bullshit. They didn't want to talk about games or, you know, Magic or anything like that, because the cool people didn't do stuff like that. The cool people were out doing, you know, active activities like four wheeling and, you know, driving cars, fixing cars, stuff like that. And I don't know what guys are like my age, but I don't associate with any guys my age. Up until like a year ago, I had friends, and then they all abandoned me. And the friends I had, you know, they were World of Warcraft players, the majority of them. Their life revolved around playing World of Warcraft 20 hours a day and sleeping for three, and spending an hour a day making pizza pockets in the microwave to eat, and not showering for a week or two at a time because they didn't want to because they just want to play World of Warcraft. All the dirty fucks I've known, were losers. I know on the Misc, somebody posted that thread about women. Women are the ones who are shallow, and it's not men. Well, I disagree. I disagree because looks do matter, regardless of what anybody will tell you. I'm not the Lord Jesus Christ. I'm not completely selfless, right? I'm not immune to, you know, the devil, right? I like things just like everybody else likes things, right? I don't want an ugly partner. I don't want a dirty bitch laying in my bed next to me that hasn't showered in 3 weeks like I have had in the past. I have some standards and morals, and right before up until just recently, I had low self-esteem, had no confidence, and I didn't know my worth. I mean, I'm still not worth much in my current state, but just because I'm not worth much doesn't mean I should settle for less than I think I deserve, and I deserve a lot, right? And I'm not getting with some ugly, dirty, fat bitch just because she's all that's available, and that's pretty much all I have for options in recent years. It's just dirty, ugly, fat bitches, and no, no. And when I get a woman, I want it to be long term. I want something that's going to last for the rest of my life. I don't want something that's temporary, just a temporary fuck. That's not what I'm after. So some of you boys try to tell me, date down for a while, start with the threes, then work up to the fours, then the fives, and then, do the really good looking bitches, and then you'll be scoring all the really hot ones, right? I'm not doing that, right? I'm not going to play somebody just to better myself and get ahead. I'm not going to play someone that's bad looking. If I'm not interested, I'm not interested. I'm not going to pretend to be interested. I've done that before. I dated somebody um, who had been with one of my friends. Used to be one of my friends, but they had been with one of my friends for years, and she was interested in me. So we went on a few dates, and it did not go well at all. And the reason why was because I was not interested, and I thought, I'm supposed to be interested because this person's interested in me, and it didn't work. If you're not interested, you're not interested. Don't even bother with pursuing anything, right? You can't force yourself to be interested. If you're not interested, forget it. Shut them down. I learned that from that experience. If you're not interested in the person, don't bother with doing anything with them. Because she ended up shutting me down after 3 dates, and the biggest reasons was related to me lacking interest in her because I had none. And right, so what's the point if you don't want to fuck them? There's no point in trying to pursue something with them because that's one of the biggest things in the relationship is having sexual desire for the other person. If there is none, don't even bother. Don't even bother, right? How are they more than just a friend if you don't want to have sex with them, right? And people in my life can be so toxic because they'll try to point me in the direction of fat, ugly, dirty, stinky bitches, and I'm just like, no, I don't want them. Shut up. Stop telling me this shit. I don't want to hear it. And they'll try to, push these fat, ugly people onto me, and I don't want them. And I made it so clear so many times that it's not welcome having, these ugly, fat, dirty bitches pushed onto me. I don't want it. And I always tell them, I'm like, do you say the same things to her about me? And they have no reply, right? And that's the downside of living with family, keeping your family close, because they just get too comfortable, and then they try to be the ones who have control of your life to make your decisions for you, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work, right? You have to please yourself. You can't please your family and your friends and everybody else. You have to please yourself, right? And I know I've had people tell me like, oh, some of these fat women, they have nice faces, they have pretty faces, and I'm like, no, they don't. They have makeup on. They're ugly. They're insecure about their appearance, so they put fucking a pound of makeup on their face to hide their ugliness, right? That's all it is. And I can't stand talking about women to my family because, and even the friends when I had them, because it would always come around about how ugly I was, and I'm like, okay, I know how ugly I am. I don't need you to point it out. Stop pushing these ugly, disgusting bitches on me. I'm really sick of it. Oh, I could go on about this all day because it pisses me off so much, but I won't. I've went on about it enough. But 20-minute video. Maybe we'll go a bit longer. I might make a really long video today because I have nothing else to do. But other people, they will want you to be like them. They won't want you to be your own person. They want you to be like them. And obviously, no one's going to suggest you do something that they wouldn't themselves do. They want you to be like them. Like, I'm not going to tell somebody to get a car, right? Because I don't have a car, right? And obviously, if somebody doesn't go to the gym, they're not going to suggest to somebody else to go to the gym because it wouldn't make sense. Then they themselves aren't a gym goer. Why would they suggest it to someone else, right? And but people can't handle the truth. The truth hurts. And friends that I've had in the past, it was always the truth that would hurt them. The truth always hurt them. You tease them and tell them they were ugly. I had one friend, probably the worst looking out of all the friends I had ever had. He was the worst looking one I've ever had from high school. I'm not going to say his name, but I remember I started teasing him one day for being ugly, and he took it to heart. It hurt him a lot. So, of course, I kept doing it because I knew it hurt him. And it hurt him so much because it was the truth, because he was uglier looking than probably everybody else I knew at the time that went to that whole school. And the truth just hurts, right? And like, I don't like being called small, or I didn't like to be called small before. I hated being called small. When somebody would say, "Well, you're small," it always pissed me off. It always fucking pissed me off because other people would say, "Well, people don't want to be big; they want to be small," and I'm like, "Well, I don't want to be small. I want to be big." And obviously, when you say you want to be big, people assume that means you want to be a fat fuck. And that's not it. I want to be jacked. I want to be muscular. I don't want to be like great small and skinny, right? But it's best not even talk about stuff like that to people because most people, they just, what's in their head is completely different than what's in my head, and it never works. I just, I try to minimize, speaking to other people in my life because nothing good comes of it. Nothing good comes of it. It's just, it ends up being an argument or a conflict of interest. So I just minimize talking to people in real life. I talked to the boy who was on the misc. That's about it. Yeah. I think I need to smoke soon, so I might cut the video off very shortly. Then come back in, crack open a can of Monster, have a can of Monster, and maybe play some Magic. I play a little bit here and there, but nothing like I used to. For a while there, I was playing 8 hours a day, and now I don't even play an hour a day. So I keep playing the little bit that I do in hopes that the game gets better again. But I swear the company is destroying the game. They're trying to triple their revenue in the next couple years. And the things that they're doing to try to triple the revenue is destroying the game. They're just in it for money now. It's just a money grab. The fucking game is. And cards that they release are just trash. Like, it's shit. There's no imagination put in the cards that are released now. It's just garbage. Complete trash. You know, when I first started playing back in high school, there was imagination put into the cards, right? And now there is no imagination. It's just pure garbage. Pure fucking garbage. And they've been jacking the prices up. They've been trying to release as many sets as possible in a year. They literally doubled the amount of sets that they're releasing every year. And they put the prices up, they made the packs smaller, everything. Like, they increased the amount of rares in a pack, but increased the price as well, because at the end of the day, what does it cost for them to manufacture a card with a gold symbol on it, signifying its rarity? Nothing, almost nothing to produce one of those cards. So they're essentially getting money for pieces of cardboard, right? And they don't want to flood the market with these things, obviously, too much, because then supply and demand, they will be worth nothing to the people that value them if they're easy to obtain, right? As it is, if all the Magic players stop playing the game and stop buying the cards would be worth pretty much nothing, right? So that's why I don't have a physical collection other than what I've accumulated from playing at the game store, because at the end of the day, it's just fucking cardboard. And I know when I first started playing the game, I thought the game was something amazing, which it is an amazing game. It was an amazing game, but it's too expensive. It's too expensive of a game. And the sad thing is, people will pay the prices that the company is asking for the cards. So as long as people pay the price, the company will keep asking for the price and keep slowly increasing the price over time. But I'm not going to get sucked into paying outrageous amount of money for pieces of cardboard, right? And I think I'll cut the video off there. I'm going to go have a smoke and misc a bit, come back in, have a monster, and play some Magic just for a little bit. So I'll see you guys on the misc.